Okay, I'll do it, Noah. Well, back when I was a kid, all the guys in the neighborhood, who are all grown up now, you know Joe Baldry, don't you? And Danny Margulis?
Yeah.
And you know John Page?
Of course.
Sure. Well, all of those guys were little kids with me and my brother Stephen. We had a great time running all over, doing all kinds of things. Why, it only seems like yesterday. It's a jumble in my memory. It's almost like a dream. Whoa! It's getting fuzzy.
Yeah, fuzzy. Well, it's either technical difficulties or a dream sequence.
Could be.
But it all does sort of seem like yesterday. Joe falling down in the garage, me as a drug addict. Wait a minute, I wasn't a drug addict. This is a movie. These are old movies that we used to make as kids, that we were all stars in, including John. So far I haven't seen him though. I've seen Joe and myself and Susie Latino. But where's John? Maybe Joe knows where he is. Maybe he'll conjure him up out of this library that was, this laboratory that was actually across the street from our old house on Cameron. Yes, there's John, in midair, about a second away from landing headfirst in 1.5 feet of water in a mostly empty swimming pool for one of our magnum opuses. And to add insult to injury, I'm beating him up, but not really. It was all sort of a movie. There's a lot of mayhem in these pictures. Lots of shooting and drowning and strangulation, but don't worry, none of it was real. Just young men taking out their pin-up aggressions in a very healthful way. There's Gail Rosen fainting as I run out of the house. And there's me with a special effect. But where's John again? I haven't seen him. Is he there? John? Is he in the water? Why are we in the water? There's Susie Latino again and Priscilla Warren. And Joe and Steve in mid-puberty. John still isn't in the scene. It's enough to make somebody faint. Or fall on the ground. Or get angry. Or laugh a lot. With a toy boat. I'm getting out of this joint. I haven't seen John anywhere. Wait a minute. There he is in midair. John Edward Page. This is fantastic. Enough of John. It's time for Dan Margulis to try and beat Joe Baldry up again. Notice the terrific props and special effects in all of these films.
Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. The Lone Ranger rides again.
And a cameo appearance by John Page as an escaped convict. Maybe that was typecasting. There he is again at hard labor, getting his just desserts. John was also a very good football player, as you could see by that wonderful catch. We can't do this to him, so we stopped it. Steve falling in the water. Very good diver, I'll give it a 9.5. Susie's still reading that funny book. And more football. Johnny Weissmuller lived in our neighborhood and used to swim in our pool almost daily. Also, Big Bird lived in our neighborhood and used to jump off the roof almost daily, or fly onto the roof. We all did that. Fond memories of when we were kids, playing, innocent, with only a few broken bones to show for it. One of the interesting things about our neighborhood, perhaps because we live next to a toxic waste dump, is we all had motors in our rear ends and could drive around on them. Everybody always used to end up in the pool. There's John as the bad guy. Just popped Joe's tire, but now is getting his comeuppance. Of course, most of the time, John would just hang around. There's that plastic boat again. Oh, our misspent days of youth. Partying down like real party animals. With a CD player. And the heavy disco beat, as exemplified by Laurie Castleman, yours truly, Susie and Joe. Notice the moves, especially Joe's. It's the Frug, it's the Watusi. And there's John with all those hormones hitting, that masterful physique, ready to jump in the pool. And here's John in one of his more serious roles as a detective, playing against Gail Rosen as the victim of the house break-in. Oh. John is dead guy again. Notice the blood and the little bottle that the blood was in floating around in the pool. It wasn't real blood, of course. John is dead guy again. Keeps playing the dead guy. That's why we called him Monkey. But of course, after the movies are over, time must march on. To throw us back to the 1870s and the Indian Wars, recreated in all their detail by John Page, Frank Gladstone, Steve Gladstone, and Alan Greenberg. Makes 4 people look like 100, doesn't it? John is dead guy again. But that sort of brings me to the end of this story. And as Steve blows off into Hurricane Donna, we say,
well, John, now that you've had that little jaunt down memory lane, it's time for us to sing the birthday song to you. There's only one thing that's sort of missing. You know, since we live in Orlando now, it's hard to get Uncle Steve here to sing with us.
I got an idea.
You do, Josh? What? Oh, Uncle Steve. Well, y'all ready? Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday